Hello. Happy Tuesday. LaKeesha Hines here, and you're watching SOS, where I'm saving our sex lives one bedroom at a time. So excited to be here with you today to talk about how to help you keep a sexy and healthy sex life. I hope you are as excited as I am to cover this topic today because I tell you, it brings me joy. Pure joy. So I hope it brings you joy too. Now, I want you all to please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Please make sure that you are sharing with all your friends, family members, colleagues, co-workers, neighbors, everybody you know. Please share. Let them know about Couples Academy. Let them know about the SOS show. Hello, Miss Jewel. Hey, Veronica. Let me know who you are and where you are streaming from so I can shout you out. Please be sure to put any questions that you have in the chat. If you don't have questions and you just want to comment, you want to give me an amen, sister, go ahead, girl, whatever it is, make sure you put that in the chat. I love to know whether or not this is resonating with you. So make sure that you let me know. And if there are topics that you specifically want me to talk about, please share that information as well, because your idea just might be a future show. So let me know. What's up, Brandon from Oklahoma? That's what I'm talking about. I appreciate you being here. Thank you for tuning in. All right, so let's jump right in. We're talking about how to keep a healthy sex life. And there are a few things that I'm going to take you through that you can do. And I know some of them won't be easy, right? All of it's not going to be peaches and cream, and all of it's not going to be unicorns and rainbows, right? You know, if you've been married for an extended period of time, that marriages actually go through highs and lows and different things, and so does our sex lives, right? But they don't have to. It doesn't have to. It doesn't have to be that way. So let's talk about what it is that you can do to keep a healthy sex life. Um, you know, I just think also, I want to pour into those who may be struggling in this area, and you're here because you're having struggles, or you're here just because you want to pick up some new ideas, new tips, new strategies, whatever the case may be. All of you are here for different reasons. But the one thing I know for sure, after working with couples and having multiple conversations and all the research and all the training and whatever else, I know that sexual frequency in marriage can and does change over time. When you're in a long-term relationship, it can get boring. But as the years go by and as we get older, our intimate relationship with one another actually should improve. It should be getting better. Sex with your partner literally can become more satisfying because you know each other's likes, dislikes, habits, and preferences. Well, the only way you know that is you have to communicate. And that is one of the tips. We'll dig a little deeper in that in a little bit. I know that life happens. Our sister Angel, fellow Couples Academy practitioner, she is the first person I think I heard say life keeps on lifing. And I don't know that she coined the phrase, but I know she is the first person who I heard say it, and I stole it. Sorry, Angel girl, I stole it. So life keeps on lifing, and that's maintaining the household, that's kids, finances, work, stress, anxiety, all these things that can literally put a damper on romance and cause sexual problems in the marriage. These are everyday factors that often do interfere with not only finding the time to have sex, but also the desire for sex. Okay. Sex can't be last on the to-do list. We have to make sure we're prioritizing sex, and we have to keep it fun and exciting and innovative. So now the first thing I want to give you, excuse me, are some signs of an intimate marriage, because we know that building and maintaining a good sex life with your partner requires both of you to put in time and effort. Okay, but some signs of an intimate marriage, I would say, would be accepting each other's flaws and quirks. We all have quirks, we all have flaws, but we do have to get to a place where we accept each other's flaws and quirks, because none of us are going to be perfect. We all got issues, right? We have to learn how to accept the fact that our spouses will never be perfect. Our partners will never be perfect, and they will all have quirks, and we all have pet peeves and all these things, but we have to get to a level of acceptance of those things. Date nights, fun, playfulness. Now, those of you who follow personality styles, my personality, I want to have fun. I like to be playful. I love date nights and date days. It just brings me so much joy. I love playing with my husband. I really, really do. And I think, life gets so hard. It gets so stressful and difficult at times. We have got to find time to play, right? We have to find time to have fun and enjoy each other and enjoy life. Another sign of an intimate marriage would be love, right? Love for each other, loving each other, feeling love toward each other. Physical attraction. That's another sign of an intimate marriage, physical attraction. And sometimes as the years go by, things change. Gravity takes over. You have things in places that weren't there before. You have things that used to be in one place and now they're not there anymore. That's life. It happens, right? But we should be during our due diligence in trying to stay as attractive as we possibly can. Like, you want to be able to look at your spouse and have something that turns you on, right? And has something that does it for you. So we should have something that turns them on and does it for them as well. But make sure we're doing it in a healthy way. Productive and meaningful communication. Communication is everything. And I already said we want to talk about that a little bit further. Willingness to make time for each other. That's a big one. These are signs of an intimate marriage. Willingness to make time for each other, prioritizing each other, making sure that and your spouse knows that there is no one that comes before them or above them except God. Okay? So there's no reason why we all can't have active and healthy sex lives. Even those who have parts that don't work anymore, there are many different types of sex, and you can have a very rich, active, healthy sex life if you're willing to do the work. All right, so let's get into some of these strategies and tips. Very first one, communicate. I said it 3 times because I wanted to sink in. You have to communicate. Communication is the key to a healthy and active sex life in a marital relationship. So we have got to talk to each other more. We often talk about superficial things, and that can be fun, right? Less stressful, but we have to go deeper. That's how we establish intimacy. We have to share our innermost thoughts and feelings with each other on a regular basis, not just when one spouse says, hey, I don't think we're talking enough, and then you commit for a day or two and then go back to your old habits and patterns. No, we have to do it regularly. We have to share our innermost thoughts and feelings with our partners. And ultimately, sexual intimacy is a continuing process of discovery. And this is just one of the things. Communication is just one of the things that can make sex good, but it's an important thing, because even when you're in the midst of your sexual encounter or sexual experience, you still got to communicate, because there may be something that's not going right for you. You have to be able to communicate that. Maybe there's something that's going really, really right for you. Then you want to communicate that as well, to encourage your partner and let them know, yes, you are doing exactly what I want you to be doing in this moment. That might be you sharing frustrations outside of the bedroom. We never share frustrations outside the bedroom. Inside of the bedroom. And we never share things that our spouses are doing wrong inside of the bedroom. That is when we are fully dressed and we are not in our bedroom and we have that conversation. But we do have to share frustrations that we have about life, about parenting, if you have children, about work, about the relationship, whatever, right? We have to talk about our sexual experiences. that we enjoy. We have to talk about things that we're not enjoying. We have to talk about things we want to explore together. And when you keep that line of communication open, then you can address any sexual issue or problem that you might be experiencing early before it begins to take a toll on your relationship, or even worse, your self-esteem, right? Or I should say your self-esteem, or even worse, your relationship, because it starts with self first and then there's a like trickle down effect. So good communication plays a key role in building and maintaining marital satisfaction. So we have to talk. Every SOS show you have ever watched, communication comes up at least once. All right. What's desired and required? What is desired and required? Are you talking to your spouse openly and honestly about your sexual desires? If not, you have to do so. Start today. Talk about what you want. You don't want to use this opportunity to be critical of your partner, but basically you're just telling them what you want in the bedroom and what makes you feel good. And you don't have to put them down to get your point across about what you want. For example, you're not doing that right, because when you do it like that, it hurts, or I can't feel anything, or the way you position yourself, like it just is wrong. And my other partner used to do, boy, never ever bring up somebody else, and never tell your spouse what they're doing wrong. You tell them, I prefer that you do it this way. I like it better when you do it that way. This makes me feel good. That doesn't really resonate with me. I don't prefer that or this, but never put them down. Never put them down. You do have to talk about your expectations, though, what's desired and what's required, because if we have these false expectations or unmet expectations, it really can hurt the marriage. And if the expectations are not being met by your partner, you have to communicate that sensitively. And, I always say you cannot hold someone accountable to something that they never knew was an expectation. So if you're not sharing what's desired and required, you can't get upset with your partner if they're not meeting those expectations, because you never shared, you never communicated, you never told them. And so we do have to make sure we're telling our partners what we desire and what we require. All right. Initiate. I know those of you who are a little bit more reserved, who don't really get into the whole initiation thing. You're like, okay, LaKeesha, I'm not really feeling that. But nobody wants to be the person to initiate all the time. No one wants to have to be the one to initiate all the time. And you can't expect your partner to be responsible, like the only one responsible for the romance. We both, when we're in a relationship, have to take responsibility for having that intimacy in our relationship. And so some of the things that you can do to initiate sex more often is to hold hands. Women in particular want and need to feel loved and connected in order to have the desire for sex. We have to make time for intimate acts like long hugs, kisses, hand or foot massages. Like that can help connect and build intimacy. And it's a signal to your partner that you're in the mood. Plan date nights. Again, having these activities together and being open to try new things definitely can get you more in the mood, because you're feeling connected, you're feeling light and fun and spontaneous and all of those things. And that can truly increase your desire for sex. I want to go to Stacy's comment. She says, I am very... Okay, I think you're saying I communicate. I'm one who communicates very often, but unfortunately, my husband isn't. I'm about I statements. He never tells me anything. His answer is, I will try to do better. He doesn't. So frustrated and pisses me off. Oh man, I get that. I so get that. I have heard that so many times, Stacey. And the only thing, without knowing your whole situation, that I could say is, I know you said you use I statements, but there's more to it than that. When it comes to communication, we have to make sure our timing is right. We have to make sure that even with the I statements, that they're still worded in a certain way that won't come off as finger pointing and blaming. We do have to be clear, concise, and direct in terms of what it is that we want and what we need. And sometimes it's the timing, right? Sometimes it's the right thing said the right way, but at the wrong time. And so there's so many layers to this communication thing. And one thing I found too is the person who is the one who communicates most oftentimes will automatically assume that they're a good communicator. And I don't know if this is for you, Stacey, but I'm just saying in general, the person who talks the most isn't the person who talks the best or who communicates the best, right? So again, it may be what you're saying, it may be how you're saying it may be when you're saying it, and it may be to who you're saying it to, because there are some things I truly believe that we do just need to pray about. If it's something that you've already talked to your husband about and he says he's going to do better and he doesn't, instead of getting frustrated and getting angry or whatever, pray about it. Like, that's literally something I've had to do. Pray, ask the Lord to open my husband's eyes so that he could see things from my perspective, his ears so he could hear what I'm actually saying, his heart so he could feel how his actions and words were impacting me, his mind so that he could understand and process what it was that I was saying to him. And then you got to sit back and then let God move. So I don't know your history. I don't know what all you've done, but just think about that. Sometimes it's the timing. Sometimes it is the text. Sometimes it's the tone. Multiple things that could be impacting why things aren't changing. And also, your husband does have to have a made up mind that he wants to do better and commit to being better, not just saying, I will try to do better, but actually putting forth action steps to do better. And I would say for you, be specific about what it is that you want him to do if you haven't been, so that he knows exactly what you expect from him. All right. So I want you guys to stay put. Don't go anywhere. Do not swipe left or right. We're going to take a quick break and we will be right back. You are watching SOS.
Hey everybody, Hassani and Danielle here. I'm so excited. Look at us. Look at where we at. Look at where we at. We are at the Hilton Alpharetta, looking at this room before the incredible transformation that's about to take place on October 7th. Walls draped, stage up, lights, camera, action. And we want y'all to be there.
Are you going to be here?
Come on, get your tickets. It's October 7th. You don't want to miss this event. It is the Phoenix Awards Gala. It is our first inaugural, and we're just getting started. But we starting hot.
Oh yeah,
we jumping out this gate like never before.
We believe either you go hard or you go home.
Go hard,
we're not
go
gonna be
home.
home. We're gonna
go
be
hard or go home.
Where you need to be.
Come on,
so let's get it.
We want to see you on October 7th. Go to get your tickets at couplesacademy.com. We'll see you there.
Welcome back. Welcome back. Again, my name is LaKeesha Hines. You're watching SOS, and today we're talking about how to keep a healthy sex life. But if you just saw that commercial with Hassani and Danielle Pettiford, our founders, man, the Phoenix Awards Gala is coming up October 7th. It is not too late for you to get tickets. It is not too late for you to book your flight, get your hotel room. There is a discount at the Hilton Alpharetta, Georgia, for the gala guests. All you have to do is scan this QR code at the bottom left of the screen and you can get your tickets today. We want you there to celebrate the power of love and the resilience of marriage. Everything that has to do with love and triumph, and man, it is just going to be an amazing time. You get to get all dressed up because it is black tie. So that means, ladies, you're going to have to dust off those ball gowns or get you a new one. Fellas, you're going to have to dust off those tuxes, or you know what? Get a new one. But we definitely want to see your face in the place. It is going to be an amazing, amazing event. So you don't want to miss it. Don't be the person who heard about it, right? Be the person who's talking about it and who's telling others about it and making them feel bad because they weren't there. Okay. I'm going to be there. Are you going to be there? I hope to see you there. All right. So let's continue our discussion about how to keep a healthy sex life. And I tell you, it may seem like a daunting task, especially if you are not in a good season as it pertains to your sex life, but I promise you it can get better. We ended on initiating, right? We ended on initiating. So now, are you taking care of yourself? Are you taking good care of yourself? When we talk about having a healthy sex life, there has to be overall physical, emotional, and mental health. Because people who feel happy and healthy, they have a positive body image and they are more likely to be in the mood. If you are exercising regularly and you're eating a nutritious diet, you'll have more energy for any activity, right? So you want to keep up with the fitness program because that will not only improve your flexibility, but also your self-esteem. So we know that research has shown that just a single bout of exercise literally can help make sex more pleasurable because it stimulates short and long-term arousal in women by driving increases in hormones as well as sympathetic nervous system activity. So we definitely want to make sure that we are staying active. Bodies were made to move. So you got to make sure you're continuing to move those bodies. Next, questions, and more questions. What questions, you say? Questions about what your partner likes, questions about what they desire, questions about their dislikes, questions about their expectations. So that's just the surface, right? But then we got to go deeper and ask, hey, what's your sexual style? What's your comfort level, right? What do you need to feel loved and appreciated and just overall happier in the relationship? So I know that we all express and feel love differently, right? Dr. Gary Chapman pointed that out in his 5 love languages. And the more we understand those differences, the more we're able to maintain intimacy in our marriage. So you have to ask questions. You have to probe and prod, especially for those who are not forthcoming with this type of information and they struggle to communicate. You have to ask questions, okay? So you can get to the bottom of what it is that your spouse likes, dislikes, and so on and so forth. Are you comparing yourself to someone else? When we compare ourselves or our sex life to somebody else's sex life, it's not helpful or relevant. Danielle Pettiford, our co-founder, says all the time, is it serving you well? And I guess Asani says it too. Is what you're doing serving you well? And if it's not, then you need to stop it. And I'm telling you right now, comparing your sex life to someone else's sex life or yourself to someone else is not serving you well. I know that there are literally no rules when it comes to the right or wrong amount of sex. Is what works in your relationship. And so if you have a couple friend and they are free with telling you about their sex life and they're telling you, oh, we do it 5 times a day, every single day of the week, and you're only doing it once a week, that can make you feel a certain type of way, right? And it can put some doubt in your mind. It can cause you to second guess yourself and spiral, literally thinking, oh my God, is my spouse not satisfied? Is my spouse not healthy? Because I'm not doing it that often, nor do I want to. You have to do what works for your marriage. What matters the most is if the frequency of sex in your marriage is right for you and your partner. And if it's not, then you have to communicate that and you got to work together to make that adjustment. I did a show before talking about it was desire discrepancy. And in that show, we were talking about how they're different libidos, right? Some have a high libido, some have a low libido. And oftentimes you get someone with a high and a low who get together. And sometimes it's low and low and high, but a lot of times, they're on opposite ends, and that does make it difficult to try to adjust. But it's what we have to do, right? And we have to accept the fact that sex will not be perfect every time. So don't get into comparing your sex life to what you see in movies or what you see on TV, or even with what your close friends are sharing with you about their sex lives, because you are not them and they are not you. And that is what it is. Okay. Plan. Okay. Plan. What are we talking about here? Well, we have to make sure that we are being intentional. We have to be intentional about being intimate with one another, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and sexually. Because I know life gets busy and our schedules like all over the place. My husband has been making fun of me and gave me the nickname DB for double book, because I have a history of double booking myself. So planning is extremely important, right? And so sometimes you do have to plan for sex. Sometimes you have to put it on the calendar. And I know everybody doesn't like that and they actually find it, undesirable, but it depends on how you look at it. Mindset is everything. You can make planning sex just as exciting as spontaneous sex. Why? You can set the mood in advance, right? You can start the foreplay in the morning. You can send signals throughout the day. You can send notes, texts, phone calls, hugs, other flirtatious gestures, especially if both of you are working from the house, and build up excitement for your sex date. Just like you have date nights, you can have a sex night, right? A sex date night, okay? And so I know even when we plan and even when we genuinely are putting forth our best effort, we might run into some situations where sex doesn't meet your expectations. We're human, we are flawed. And so it's not going to be perfect, but we do want to be intentional about planning for the best encounter and best experience we can possibly have. And I think the last thing I'll say is, if you are struggling in this area, reach out for help. This is what I am here for. So you seek help. If you're having trouble building a fulfilling sex life or maintaining a fulfilling sex life, then you may need some help, right? And I'm here for you. So literally, you may just need to explore some of the emotional issues that are affecting your sex life. Sometimes it's relationship issues, and sometimes it's just not, again, making sex a priority. But however it goes, if you need help, reach out, make that discovery call, because again, I'm here to help you. And I definitely want to do that. I want you enjoying your life and I want you having the best sex of your life. So I want to say thank you all for tuning in. I do see we had one other question. Brandon says, my wife and I hold hands, have a movie date once a week, but I also started a medication the past 6 months that's just killed my sex drive. What's the best way to get past this? Oh my goodness, Brandon. I've heard this multiple times before, where medications actually can kill your drive. So the thing is, for you, you're just going to have to be intentional about making sure you initiate. And if there's something that you need your spouse to do, you need her to initiate more, whatever the case may be, then you have to communicate that. But the medication, you have to take the medication. So you just have to deal with that, but you just have to be intentional. So maybe scheduling it for you is going to be very helpful and beneficial, because you can't rely on your body to remind you that it's been however long it's been. And getting clear with her about the frequency of sex that she wants to have. So I think getting on the same page with her, maybe you have to start scheduling it, being intentional, and literally just start, because most times when we start having sex, eventually the body and everything else will catch up and it'll flow, and then you'll enjoy yourself. But don't let a lack of desire prevent you from connecting with your wife in that way, because she still most likely wants you, desires and requires sex. And so don't wait until you feel like it. Okay, be intentional. All right, so I hope that helps. And if not, you need further help, like I said, reach out, make a discovery call. You can go to couplesacademy.org and you'll get all the information that you need there. But I love you all. Be blessed. Have a good day. And I will see you same time, same place next week. Take care, everybody.